Mushoku Tensei Season 3 is where the story begins to move from family recovery into a much larger hidden conflict. Before the Perugius arc and Turning Point 4, the audience needs to remember three things. Rudeus has built a new family, Nanahoshi is still searching for a way home, and the human god's influence is still quietly shaping events. This video will connect those pieces so the Season 3 story feels clear instead of confusing. This video contains story context that goes beyond the end of Season 2 and prepares viewers for the Perugius and Turning Point 4 arcs. It is designed for viewers who want to understand the light novel direction or who do not mind spoilers about the upcoming arc. If someone only wants anime-only surprises, this is the point where they should stop and return later. At the end of the previous major arc, Rudeus helped rescue Zenith from the teleport labyrinth, but the victory came with painful consequences. Paul died protecting his family, Rudeus lost an arm, and Zenith returned in a strange, silent condition. Season 3 begins with Rudeus carrying both the relief of saving his mother and the grief of losing his father. Earlier in the story, Rudeus mostly survived one crisis after another. By this point, he has a household, wives, siblings, friends, and people who depend on him. That changes the emotional meaning of every future decision. When danger appears in Season 3, Rudeus is not only protecting his own life, he is protecting the family and peaceful future he finally managed to build. The Greyrat household is now emotionally complicated. Sylphie represents the peaceful life Rudeus wanted. Roxy becomes both a teacher figure and a partner who helped him recover after Paul's death. Norn and Aisha are adjusting to life with him. Zenith is alive, but her condition remains mysterious. This family setup is important because Turning Point 4 directly threatens the future of that household. Zenith's rescue is not a clean, happy ending. She returns alive, but she is not communicating normally, and the family does not fully understand what happened to her. This unresolved mystery keeps emotional pressure on Rudeus. It also reminds viewers that in Mushoku Tensei, victory often arrives with consequences that continue long after the battle ends. Nanahoshi is one of the most important characters to remember before the Perugius arc. Unlike Rudeus, she was transported into this world rather than reincarnated as a baby. She does not see this world as her true home. Her goal is to research summoning and find a way back to Japan. That goal is why Perugius becomes so important to her. Nanahoshi's research is not just a personal subplot. It touches the larger mystery of how people can cross worlds, how summoning works, and why certain impossible events happened in the first place. Rudeus supports her because she is one of the few people who understands his connection to another world. Season 3 uses her research to open the door to Perugius and the floating fortress. Ariel is not just a school friend or a royal background character. Her future is tied to the Asura kingdom, and Sylphie is deeply connected to her as both protector and friend. This means Rudeus is surrounded by people whose problems are larger than ordinary school life. Perugius later becomes relevant not only for Nanahoshi, but also for Ariel's political ambitions. Perugius Dola is a legendary figure, not just another powerful noble. He is connected to the old war against Laplace and carries enormous historical authority. When Rudeus and the others meet him, they are standing before someone who understands ancient conflicts, powerful magic, and political influence at a level far above ordinary people. His judgment matters. Chaos Breaker, Perugius's floating fortress, changes the scale of the story. Until now, much of the recent plot has focused on family, school, and recovery. The fortress reminds viewers that this world has ancient magical powers, legendary beings, and secrets far beyond Rudeus's everyday life. This is the kind of location that makes Season 3 feel bigger. Nanahoshi needs advanced knowledge, and Perugius is one of the few people who might provide it. Her journey to Chaos Breaker is filled with hope, because she believes she may finally be closer to returning home. This hope is what makes the coming disaster more painful. The arc starts with a promise of progress, then quickly turns into a crisis. The emotional center of the Perugius arc is Nanahoshi's collapse. Her body does not belong to this world in the same way as people born here. This makes her condition frightening, because it is not a normal illness that simple healing magic can solve. For Rudeus, this is a reminder that being connected to another world can be both special and dangerous. Rudeus cares about Nanahoshi because she represents something no one else can fully understand. She knows the truth of another world, the loneliness of being displaced, and the desire to solve impossible problems. When she becomes sick, Rudeus's decision to help her is not only friendship, it is also a response to the shared burden of being connected to another life outside this world. The solution to Nanahoshi's problem does not stay inside a safe classroom or a noble fortress. The story pushes Rudeus toward the demon continent, where he must search for answers connected to rare knowledge and dangerous people. This shift gives the arc an adventure feeling, but the emotional reason behind it is simple. A friend's life is at risk. Season 3 route toward Volume 14 brings back the importance of demon world figures like Kishirika and Atofratov. These characters are strange, powerful, and connected to older layers of the setting. Their involvement reminds viewers that the world of Mushoku Tensei is not only human kingdoms and magic schools. It also includes demon lords, old grudges, and chaotic personalities who can change the direction of the plot. While Rudeus is dealing with family, Nanahoshi, and Perugius, Eris has been following her own path of brutal sword training. Her story matters because she is not simply gone from the narrative. She is growing stronger, dealing with her own feelings, and preparing for a future where she can stand beside Rudeus again. Season 3 viewers should keep watching for her return. Before turning point 4, viewers need to remember the tension between Orsted and the human god. Orsted is terrifying but not simple evil. The human god appears friendly and helpful, but his advice has hidden consequences. The biggest shift of Season 3 is that Rudeus begins to understand that the real danger may not be the person who looks frightening, but the voice that pretends to guide him. A turning point in Mushoku Tensei is not just a dramatic episode title. It is a moment where the story's direction changes permanently. Earlier turning points sent characters across the world, reshaped relationships, and revealed new threats. Turning point 4 is especially important because it changes Rudeus's understanding of trust, fate, and the human god. The power of turning point 4 comes from contrast. Rudeus has finally reached a period where home feels stable. Nanahoshi's crisis has moved the story forward, and life seems like it might continue peacefully. Then a warning arrives that forces him to question everything. This is the moment where the story stops feeling like a recovery arc and becomes a hidden war for the future. The Perugius arc and Turning Point 4 are important because they act like a bridge. Volume 14 begins with adventure, illness, and rescue. Then the ending points directly into the darker conflict of Volume 15. If viewers understand Nanahoshi, Perugius, Eris, Orsted, and the human god before this point, the emotional impact of what comes next becomes much stronger. When watching Season 3, pay attention to what the anime emphasizes and what it condenses. The light novel often gives more of Rudeus's internal thoughts, Nanahoshi's emotional distance, and the strategic meaning behind conversations. A good episode breakdown should explain what was adapted, what was shortened, and what small lines are actually foreshadowing for later events. To understand Season 3 before the Perugius and Turning Point 4 arcs, remember these 6 pillars. Rudeus has a family to protect. Zenith's condition remains unresolved. Nanahoshi is searching for a way home. Perugius connects the story to ancient power and summoning knowledge. Eris is still growing off-screen, and the conflict between Orsted and the human god is about to become impossible for Rudeus to ignore.